Hello everyone, in this video we'll be going over the Objects and Data Structures Assessment Solutions. Okay, so the first question was write a brief description of all the following object types and data structures we've learned about. So for the full answers, all you had to do is review the Jupyter Notebook. So if you go to the Solutions Notebook, I've put links so you can go ahead and check out the introductions of each of those Jupyter Notebooks where they describe, in layman's terms, numbers, strings, lists, tuples, and dictionaries. So let's go ahead and move on to the numbers section. First thing I wanted you to do is write an equation that uses multiplication, division, exponent, addition, and subtraction to equal this kind of arbitrary number. So your answer is probably different. All I did was work backwards, but this was just so you made sure you understood what minus to the powers, parentheses, division, multiplication all looked like and how they worked. So this is what I did, and that equals 100.25. Next, I wanted you to explain what the cell would produce, 2 divided by 3, and what can you do to change it so the answer is correct. So if you notice, we have 2 divided by 3 and we have a 0 there. And remember, that's because Python 2 performs classic division for integers, and you need to use floats to perform true division, such as 2.0 divided by 3. We also discussed on how to use import from the future module to also change that. Or you could just use Python 3 and then you wouldn't have to worry about that. Next, answer these 3 questions without typing code, then type code to check your answer. So you can go ahead and check your own answers here, but this was just to make sure you understood order of operations in Python. What was the type of the result of the expression here? The answer is going to be a floating point number. As long as there's one floating point number in the entire equation, your result will be a floating point number. After that, what would you use to find a number's square root as well as its square? You can just use 2 asterisks in a row to do a power, and then use a fraction to do a square root. There's also a math module in Python that will allow you to do square roots, and we'll talk about that later on in the course. The strings section, basically I just wanted you to play around with indexing, so writing out commands to grab letters from strings, making sure you understand that indexing starts at 0, reversing strings, again with slicing and indexing, and then given the string, give 2 methods to print the letter O. First one was just going in reverse with -1. Second one, I just went straight forward with index of 4. After that, it was lists, and I wanted you to build a list 0, 0, 0 2 separate ways. One way is just the standard, write out the list in between brackets. The second way you could have done it was by doing a list of 0 and multiplying it by 3 to get 3 of those. After that, I wanted you to reassign hello in this nested list to say goodbye. So the index to reach that item was 2, 2, because it was a list nested inside of a list. After that, I wanted you to sort this list, and you could have done that with a sorted function or with the method sort. Then for dictionaries, this was basically just keys and indexing to grab hello. First one was just pretty simple. You just had to do the simple key. Second one, a little trickier. Had to do 2 keys because it was a dictionary nested inside another dictionary. Third one, pretty tricky. This is actually harder than I expected. It was the key, an index, nest key, and then 2 indexes later to get hello. This one was a little crazy. It was a key and index, a key to index, the key tuffy, and then 2 indexes to reach hello there. After that was, can you sort a dictionary? Why or why not? No, you cannot sort a dictionary because normal dictionaries are mappings, not sequence. So they don't remember what order you put in items in. Now, later on in the course, we'll talk about something called an ordered dictionary, which is a subclass of dictionary in Python in a specific module called collections. So you'll learn about a specific type of dictionary that you actually can remember order. Moving along with tuples, what's the major difference between tuples and lists? Hopefully you were able to answer this, which is tuples are immutable. That's the big difference. How do you create a tuple? Remember, it's just parentheses and then commas, just like a list, but instead of square brackets, you're using parentheses. For sets, what's unique about a set? Remember, they don't allow for duplicate items. So to use a set to find the unique values, you could just cast that list with the set function. For Booleans, don't worry if you didn't fully understand this. There's a whole section on comparison operators coming up next, but I just wanted you to get kind of a sneak peek. You can go ahead and check out these various pieces of code. They should have been hopefully pretty straightforward if you already knew some math notations, such as 2 greater than 3 or 2 less than or equal to 2, etc. So you can run those cells and check your answers. Final question was, what is the Boolean output of the cell block below, right here? So it's going to be false, and we can check that through indexing. So L1 index to 0 would have been, if we look here, that would have been this list, first item, so that's 3. So then you're basically asking, is 3 greater than or equal to? And if we look at that second list, it's going to be index 2, key 1, so 4. So is 3 greater than or equal to 4? That's false. Okay, great job on your first assessment, and I'm excited to continue on with the course, and I'll see you at the next lecture where we talk about Python comparison operators. Great job, everyone.